Eventually it was time to go to Bangkok.
Airport security at Koh Samui.
And while the quaint little airport
Stock footage.
in Koh Samui was hilarious, Bangkok is a little more terrifying.
So I've made it here to Bangkok, and there was an absolute drama getting into the hotel. It took an hour by taxi from the airport to here, I think a distance of about 3 kilometers. But I'm here, and already I'm starting to notice some sort of dissonance between the incredibly affluent and those who have not enough. And
it's a stark difference than in Koh Samui, but it's also one that I don't want to get into. I was here visiting as a tourist. I have none of the background to explore this with any kind of with any kind of new view. The footage here was taken around the university and includes this amazing artwork, which I think is just boxes and boxes covered in mirrors. It serves to be almost invisible until you walk into it or start paying attention. It breaks up the world into this fractal mindscape. And you know, it's kind of cool to film. Quality experience. The skyline in Bangkok is amazing. The days continued, and we ended up going to a place called Amulet Market, and that's the footage you can see here. Amulet Market is filled with exactly that. Amulets. A host of them being examined, purchased by Thai people who are looking for that little bit of good luck, that little bit of extra penis growth, that little bit of stuff. I couldn't record very much of it. It was an amazing, complex place, and I lost hours wandering around the various stalls. What's interesting to note is I saw no tourists in Amulet Market. Just me. And the artisans. From there we went to a place called Wat Pho and saw this new big Buddha. A reclining Buddha of enormous proportion. And as we wandered in, we saw signs like this one: beware pickpocket gangs. And we saw the tourists, like myself, all filming and photographing the quite spectacular, enormous Buddha. And I had a look around. The walls of the temple were covered in these intricate, detailed paintings, stories that spanned the entirety of the building. Nobody was looking at them. They were engaging in empty rituals that they had no concept of, or they were selfieing with the big reclining Buddha. There was a sense of respect. There was a signed document from Barack Obama saying how great the visit was, but it all feels a little artificial. Like this hasn't been a temple in a long time.
A place called Wat Pho.
Even here, with enormous amounts of tourist money coming in, still under construction. The river in Bangkok is the way to get around, and it's magnificent. It's a living, thriving economy on the water. And then there's the living, thriving economy that operates out of the back of trucks
dangerous thing, and taking a tuk-tuk back to the hotel. It is smelly and hot and very sunny, and there's not much room above my head, but it's quite nice.
On our last day, Rania and I went diving in a tank, in an aquarium. Earlier on, we'd been diving in the actual sea, seeing natural formations, but here there was something special and just a little bit terrifying. Grey nurses and basking sharks and all sorts. Big, a little scary, and kind of fun. Bangkok is a massively vertical city, and there's a bit of culture shock in that. Rather than building out and spreading out across the landscape, Thailand, Bangkok has built up, like most cities, but it's done it in a way that looks very, Gotham-esque. Above runs 2 levels of sky rail. The wildlife has been forced to adapt. There are walkways that run from rooftop to rooftop, an endless maze of catwalks. It's a huge contrast from the wide open space of Australia.